Thank you for listening to the opening statement with Joe Shannon. You can find us on the internet at shannonlawgroup.com or telephone our office at 312-578-9501. Have a terrific day. This is going to be a great one. We've got a fella that is of Italian descent. He lives half-time in the UK, half-time in Italy, and has got an unbelievably great career where he was handling up advertising and a lot of different things. But he wrote a book, and I'm going to look at it. It's called The Curse of Knowing. The Curse of Knowing. It's coming out July 14th, 2020. Aldo Cernuto is our guest, and we're very pleased to welcome him to the show. Welcome, Aldo.
Oh, it's a great pleasure being here. Thank you for having me here. Thank you very much.
I wish that we were on a terrace and we were looking at the sea and having a glass of wine and enjoying it right now, but let's pretend that we are. Because your country is so beautiful. Tell us where you were born and where you were raised, Aldo.
Okay, I was born very far away from the sea, actually. I was born in Turin, which is northwest Italy, and it's a large city, industrial city. Not beautiful at the time I was born. In fact, my parents immediately moved after my birth. They moved to Naples, which is, we had this fantastic flat overlooking the Gulf and the Vesuvio, and it was so beautiful, so enchanting. My childhood was like that, opening the window and admiring the sea, and it was great time. But
tell me about your folks. What do they do for a living?
Well, my father, that's one of the reasons why I traveled a lot across Italy first. Is my father was a representative of a huge book publisher at the time. So I mean, I was born among books. All my life was surrounded by books all the time. I hated them at a certain moment because there were books everywhere, at home, in their office, in his car. It was very invasive, the presence of books in my since my childhood. And so from Naples, then my father went back to Turin. That was in the late 60s. And then I didn't like it there, but there was no option. I mean, we were supposed to stay there. And then from there to Milan, which I loved instead. Milan is so beautiful. I mean, people don't know how beautiful Milan is. Mostly when they think of Italy, they always say Venice and Rome and Florence and Siena. Milan is such an inspiring and beautiful city.
What makes it beautiful, Aldo?
Well, you know what? The thing that makes it beautiful to me is that you have to discover its beauty. It's not something that you immediately, it's not like going around in Rome where everything is beautiful around you. And so you just, actually you are overwhelmed in a way by the beauty of the city. Milan is different. You discover bit by bit how beautiful it is. And there are some spots in Milan that most tourists don't even go to visit. They are so enchanting, so beautiful. And I recommend actually anyone who's visiting Italy not to forget to go to Milan. They will fall in love with that city. So, well, I went to Milan, then from Milan, a small couple of years in Brescia, but nothing interesting here. Then I moved to Florence, where I attended university, and I love that period because Florence at the time, I'm talking about the early mid 70s was such a beautiful city. Then it has been spoiled more than a bit. It has spoiled a lot by tourism, but at the time was super fantastic. I mean, you had a real chance to get in touch with the people there. People from Tuscany are famous for being very, very welcoming, and they speak in a way. They speak the real Italian, they say, the authentic Italian. They're very proud of that. And so, I mean, I was in touch with this kind of a live world of culture and beauty, and so, I mean, very inspiring for my future career as well. Because
So you were at university in Florence?
I'm sorry?
You were at university in Florence?
Yes, I attended university in Florence. I didn't study much. I wasn't studying much, actually.
Well, you're studying by just being there. I mean, that is the place of the Renaissance, right?
Well, let's put it this way. My parents were living in Brescia, northern of Italy at the moment, and I didn't want to stay there. So I decided to join the only faculty which was not present in Brescia, which was chemistry, which has nothing to do with me, nothing to do at all. But the good thing is that I convinced them to send me to Florence, where I did very little in terms of studying, unfortunately. But my parents, I mean, they've been very patient with me, and luckily, I must say. But I learned a lot of things. I was staying all night long outside, meeting people, talking to people from all over the world. It was such a rich experience of life, and that was a moment in history, let's say, where you could do that. I mean, now it's many more people do this, and sometimes they have problems then in finding a job and so on. But anyway, I think I've been lucky from this perspective. I was in Florence. I enjoyed a lot staying there. I met my wife, by the way, which is the most important thing in my life, the mother of my two kids. We married, and then we moved to Milan because I had started working in advertising as a copywriter. So not a writer yet, but a copywriter.
So is your career has been in advertising?
Yes, yeah, and this is the only job I did, actually, because this is a funny story. I mean, if you want to hear, I have a super funny story to tell you how I started my career, because being born among books all the time, of course, reading was important to me, and the idea of becoming a writer, or at least to earn money by writing something, was my idea at the moment, and for probably for whole of my life. And I had just interrupted my second faculty at university, which was law, by the way, because after chemistry, I decided to join law, because I said, well, law is much closer to my, don't think that I was a spoiled brat. I mean, I was very curious, very, very, I read a lot, studied a lot, but not the things that university wanted me to learn. I wanted to learn what was interesting to me, not what was important for giving tests and this kind of thing. So anyhow, one fine day, I come across a recruitment ad on the main Florence newspaper, La Nazione. It was the main newspaper at the time, and they were looking for someone. That was written on the ad. Someone with a special talent for writing, a special predisposition, something like that. I can't remember what the word was. I said, oh, wow, this perfect for me. It was a huge one-page ad on. And I said, oh, wow, I'm the man for the job. So I wrote them a letter where my intention was, let's show them that I can write. Instead of telling them, let me show that I can write. So what I decided to do was to put their leg all across my letter. From the beginning to the end, I decided that that was my chance to present myself in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
My point of difference, where I explained why they absolutely had to hire me, was that I had a special predisposition for writing, because being left-handed, I could write two things simultaneously with both hands, two different things. Of course, it was a joke because it was not. It was supposed to be a joke. But after a couple of weeks, they rang me and they said, "Okay, Aldo, we loved your letter. Come and let's talk." I said, "Oh, fantastic!" I said, "This is great. I have the opportunity to start to make a job where I write, which is the thing I dreamed the most." So I went there, and I found a creative director in front of me, and this lady was a lady, and asked me questions. What did you do? What you study? What you read? What films you go to watch? What kind of interests you have? All these questions, and I was said, okay, it's done it. I mean, a minute, and she's going to tell me, yes, the job is yours. Instead, what she did was picking a sheet of paper and a pen, two pens, and said, well, you said that you can write two different things at the same time with two ends. Now show me. I said, oh my gosh, how can I do that? How? But you know, the fact is, I wanted so bad that job that in the end I managed to do that. I mean, being born left-handed, and I mean, I was in a way able to write with both hands, but I had never done it to write two things at the same, two different things together.
The pressure was on, Aldo.
Well, I did it. In the end, Joe, I did it. I did
Good
it.
for you, man. Did you get the job?
Yes. I actually got that job, and that was the only interview that I had my whole life. Because then, you know what, that was a time when once you started in advertising, you remained in that field all your life long. And this is what basically I did. So I changed from agency to agency. I went to Milan, from Florence to Milan, from a medium agency to major networks like Y&R, McCann Erickson, Law Group, and then 10 years ago I co-founded my own agency, which is
Okay, so we'll stop there now. So 10 years ago, you opened up your own advertising agency.
Right. 10 years ago.
Okay, so how old were you when you did that?
Well, I was not young. I was 54. No,
Okay,
it was 11.
Think about it. Think about it. Most people in their 50s don't start their own company. What makes you want to do that in your 50s? That's a pretty aggressive move.
Well, you know, I must say this because this is important. I think when I was young, when I was a young man, I was a chess player. I loved, and I made tournaments as well. And you know what I learned from chess is that you always have to think of the next move. So, and the more moves ahead you are able to think, the better you the better position you can get on the chessboard. And this is an attitude that I developed and I maintained throughout my career. So when talking about 2009, when the depression moment came, I said, I'm in a big agency, I'm creative director, international creative director on many clients, and vice president of a company, which in 6 months is probably going to make some redundancies. And what if I'm going to be that one of that?
Exactly.
So instead of waiting, also because my salary, frankly, was very, very high. You know, all the people at the time in that position had high salary. I'm not saying this for bragging. But
no, I get it. I understand. I mean, you're making your next move. You're on the chess thing. I like it.
Yeah, this is basically what I thought. Together with my business partner, because you know, in advertising, a creative team is made out of 2 people: a copywriter and an art director. So a copywriter is basically the man of the words, whereas the art director, to make it simple, is the man of the image. Okay, and they together make the message. They work one in front of the other. So together with him, Roberto Pizzigoni, we decided to leave. And we said, this is the moment where clients will need a completely different kind of agency, quicker, with fewer people, very proactive. And so we said, let's do an agency which can face this crisis moment. Let's do that for ourselves, and let's do that for clients as well. And this worked well. So I mean, the agency is still doing well, despite the fact that I have decided I'm still a shareholder of my agency, but I very little work. Sometimes I make some call and then I go to the agency, I talk to the people, but what I like to do now is do what I like. And that is the point.
So when you made your decision to start your own company, I'm assuming you had to sit down with your family and say, listen, we're leaving the comfort net of this beautiful big company, and we're going to go out on our little boat together. How was that discussion?
Oh, this is interesting. This is very interesting. Thank you for asking me this, because I perfectly remember the moment when my wife was in London in that moment. And the day I decided to resign, I took a flight and went to London. And so I invited my wife to a pub close to where we live.
What part of London?
Pimlico. You know Pimlico?
Okay. Yeah, well, I lived in London for 9 months. So I got to know a little bit of it. I love the city.
Yeah, beautiful, eh?
Yeah.
Is it? Where were you living?
I lived in 2 places. For the first 4 months, I lived in this suburb called Hampstead.
Oh, beautiful. Oh.
Yeah, we rented a place there, and then when the ceiling fell in, we ended up moving to a really great place. You know where Speaker's Corner is in the park?
Of course. Oh, wow.
Hyde Park, you know where the Speaker's Corner is, where they have the people that sit on a soapbox and they give speeches? Yeah, I lived a block from there.
Oh, it's so Bayswater, basically.
Yeah. I don't know if it's Bayswater or is that Piccadilly?
Well, Piccadilly. Oh, well.
Yeah.
The other side. Yeah, sure.
Speaker's Corner. Yeah. So right there. So I lived there for my law school had their law school was right there, right in Piccadilly Circus. It was a really nice place. But yeah, it was good. But I admire that. I mean, London is just, I mean, it's such a beautiful city. You were living in two great places, man.
Wow.
That is awesome.
Do you miss London?
Well, it's been a long time. I mean, I was there in the late '80s, and every single day that I was there, I remember it because it was it's a city that you wake up and it's exciting. It's like moving, and so I was very busy there because I what I did is I decided to join a running club there, and so it seems like at least 4 days a week I was on a train to this place called Haringey, which is uh, I can't tell you the area it is, but I would take the train there, maybe take a couple different transfers, and I'd be running there with that club, and I really enjoyed that. And then when I was not doing, I was studying, or I had couple jobs, so it went so fast. But I remember all the museums and the international food and the friendliness of the people. I really enjoyed it.
What years are you talking about?
It was 1987.
Oh, oh, okay, okay. Well, that the moment London was at its high moment, because I still love London. I'm in love with London, but it's not the same city anymore. It's much different from what it used to be. But apart from that, so we were talking about how I told my wife about.
Yes, you're in a pub.
Yes, I went to this pub and I said, listen, we're doing this, and she said, oh well, she didn't speak immediately. Let me. I had ordered 2 good glasses of wine, of course. But she in the end, she has supported me all my life long. So I mean, she said, okay, if you have made this decision, it means that you feel like doing that, and I will support you. So go ahead, and whatever happens, I will be with you. Which is what I wanted to hear in such a situation. You know, it was not that easy, because the moment was, you know, in America as well, 2008, 2009 had been so tough for everybody. And, you know, but my thought was, if I leave the company, it's different. And I do that at the right moment, is different than if I'm laid off and
Sure.
I start. I have to find a solution. No, I made this decision, and luckily it was the right one, I must say. So chess helped in that situation.
Yeah. So tell me, a life of advertising. People don't understand advertising. I mean, so they saw this TV show Mad Men, you know, about
Yeah.
America. I don't know have you seen that?
Well, you know, I've seen some episodes, not all of them, because sometimes they irk me. They you know, it's difficult to say.
Yeah, I've never seen it. I just know that. So, but tell us what it's like. So, you know, most people don't understand the science of advertising. There's marketing and advertising. They try and make it the same thing. Tell me what advertising. If some Martian came down and sat down with you and you were telling them what a career in advertising is like, what would you tell them?
Okay, let me put in very short, in a very short sentence. Most people think that advertising is about selling stuff to the people. I'm quoting my teacher of advertising, the master that I had here years ago, Emanuele Pirella, and he used to say, advertising is not about selling stuff to the people. Is about making people desire stuff.
Okay.
And there is a huge difference, because you have to, if you think that in the former way, you are putting a foot in the, into the door. How do you say that in English?
Yes.
You're putting, which is something people don't like.
Sure.
But if you instead are inspiring that their desire to possess, to own, to buy something, is a completely different story.
Mm-hmm.
So you work, you're not working on, you're not thinking of the wallet of the client. You're thinking
Right.
of their heart, exactly. And in this simple, different kind of attitude, there is the secret of being of doing great creative job, or doing ordinary stuff. So